Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Naeem Mushtaq here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today we are blessed to have Dr. Shanthikumar from Sri Lanka. I met Dr. Shanthikumar in Lahore, in Minhaj University, Lahore, in one of the conference, and later he taught some courses in Minhaj University in the Department of Religion and Philosophy. And I enjoyed talking to him because very few people they have a very strong grip on the realities of life, and most of the people they are very much, I would say, theoretical in their understanding, but very few people in the academic background, with their academic background and in the academic industry, are with the real life stories. So I requested him to let's have a discussion together, and through this discussion I will be also learning, and you as a viewer, you will also be having a chance to learn few interesting aspect of Dr. Shanti Kumar's perception and his point of view about life, religion, and other areas of life. So this discussion is going to be more fruitful for the student of comparative religion, for the student of the philosophy, and for also all those students who are or all those gurus and teachers also who are very much involved in the motivational speaking, because sometime when you're talking about motivational speaking, you are directly dealing with life itself. You need to know what life is and how to deal with life, and unless you know all these secrets and realities from a practical point of view, it is very difficult to give motivation, to be in motivation, and to have a sense of motivation also in life. So, Dr. Shanti Kumar, welcome to my humble show. This is basically a coffee with friend, and we are going to
Yeah.
do an intellectual sharing with our own coffees at our own home. When you come to Pakistan, hopefully, I'll see if we can sit together. Maybe you and Dr. Herman, the head of Department of Religion and Philosophy, and maybe with you one to one also, to have a more live recording sort of a thing. This is a Zoom meeting, so let's start with that. First of all, you are from Sri Lanka, right?
Yes, I am.
And you are now in Sri Lanka right now,
Yes, I am in Colombo, the capital.
the capital, Colombo. Okay, I've never been there, but most of the people I met from Sri Lanka, I find them to be very, very intelligent. Like sometimes they are a country in Southeast Asia where you have difficulty communicating and exploring ideas. But Sri Lanka is one of the country where I find their IQ level is very high. Maybe it's because of the country has gone through a lot of ups and downs, and these ups and downs have polished their nation on an individual level and also on a collective level. So tell us a little bit just your background, your religious background, or just tell us, my audience. I know you, of course, but I would like to listen from your side also.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Naeem Mushtaq.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great to meet you in Lahore.
Yes.
And I thought you were a Lahori, but then I realized, yeah, then I realized one can be Lahori but live in other part of Pakistan. So you live in Islamabad,
Yeah.
which I
But
visited.
the problem with the Lahoris is even they are Lahori. Wherever they go, they will remain Lahoris.
Okay. Now, as for my background, I am Shanthikumar Hettiarachchi. That's my last name. It's like it's 13 letters. That is half the alphabet. It's like a Keralite surname.
Okay, lovely.
I probably might be a Malayali connection there.
Okay.
Because a lot of Malayalis came probably also to Sri Lanka as settlers years and years ago, before the Europeans and the Arabs, alongside Arabs probably as merchants. So I come from a Roman Catholic background.
Okay, lovely.
And it is the Portuguese version of Roman Catholicism.
Okay.
If you would like to know that, and not the Matoma, which is the southwestern Christianity based in Goa and
Oh,
Kerala.
okay. So what's the basic
That's
difference
also
between the two?
Portuguese.
This is a very new
Yeah,
thing.
that's also Portuguese. That's also Portuguese.
Okay.
One is Portuguese colony, which is Goa,
Okay.
and their second language probably, I think the second language is probably Portuguese,
Okay.
and maybe the link language is English, and then Hindi.
Hmm.
So, and the Matamba Christians are the Eastern Christians who claim that Thomas the Apostle probably visited them. That's how the connection goes. And the Roman Catholicism is the largest in Sri Lanka. But now I consider among the Christians, of course, among Christian denominations. That's what I meant. And I am actually now, when I went to the Pakistan High Commission for my visa, when I came first for the conference, Naeem, where you met me, and they asked the religion in the
religion column,
application
form.
So I wondered for a moment, why would they want it? Maybe they have reasons for it. So I put a Christian stroke a Buddhist.
Okay.
And then when I went to the visa officer, he went through and he asked over his glasses he was wearing, how come you have two? You can only have one.
Yeah.
Then I said, well, I feel that I have a double belonging. What do you mean double belonging?
Yeah.
I said, I am a Roman Catholic, but there is some part of my soul that is drawn to Buddhism. Okay. And what do I do without it? Can you tell me over the counter? And he called a few other officers. Look here, he believes in two traditions. And then there was a young man. He said, yeah, it is possible. It is possible. What doctor is saying is possible. I said, it is possible. I have met so many. And I feel inside the same.
Yes.
And then Naeem, as a researcher in this area, I have also found my identity is drawn to in multiple ways now.
Okay, lovely.
Not just two, but multiple ways.
Okay.
And I could be culturally connected to all those traditions in South Asia after my travels into these areas. So that's where I am. I have multiple belonging, but I do believe.
Okay. So if I put it this way, that your international travel connected you with the spirit of humanity without any titles.
Yeah. In that sense, yes.
In a sense, like when you say Christianity / Buddhism, it means Buddhism is more towards spiritualism. And Christianity is more towards dogmas and all that. But there is also a spiritual tradition within Christianity.
Yeah.
So when you traveled around, my first question, which I wanted to ask you, how do you define religion? Which I think, coming back from your experience and with your perception, with your connections of meeting with different various traditions, how would you define religion now after all these experiences?
Actually, it's a Naeem. It's a Latin word kind of thing. They say religare. You know,
yes.
Religare is binding. It has a beautiful Latin meaning to it, and it's uncontestable.
Yes.
There is something binding to it. So, so that binding glue is that which can be defined probably as that which is could be defined as religion. And I find it very interesting when I teach the history of religious thought, Naeem.
Yes.
That when did we start religion? Is it with Christianity or with Harappa Mohenjo-daro in what we call Punjab now?
Yes.
or is it Egyptian? Or is it when we realize that we are reasoning beings?
Yes.
That we reason, that we smile. Because only beings who can smile is us. Because there is a reason to smile.
Exactly.
It is reasoning that tends us to shift our facial muscles. It's not anything else. So it sends a signal to the mind, and mind says, okay, you can now stretch your facial muscles, kind of thing. That's the electricity within us, how the brain works. And only we have developed it.
Okay.
Only we have developed it. And in that sense, I would like to take religion as way back to the moments where we began to smile and imagine. I think imagination was the origin of religion.
Okay.
And the ones that are closest to, in anthropological sense, to us human are the Aborigines in Australia.
Okay. Yes.
They are the most ancient, I would say, apart from the probably the pygmies in the central Congo.
Okay.
Probably in the deep in the jungle, who have had no other contact with whatever we call as civilization. I think I have visited the reserves in Darwin, and they connect with South Asians more than the whites for some reason. For some reason, and two of them call me just brother. They speak perfect English.
Okay.
Perfect
Lovely.
English,
Lovely.
and I think they still dream. I believe that that's where the origin of religion probably might be somewhere, but not necessarily the religious thought. There's
Yes.
a distinction between the religious thought and imagination.
So if you look at the feelings and experience of religion in a ordinary life, as a Muslim, as a Christian, as a Buddhist, as a Hindu, we are we have two perspective of our experience. One is towards divine, and the other is towards humans, our fellow human beings. And I think most of the part of the religion that connects us with the divine is based on our connection with the humans. If you read the four gospels of Jesus Christ, he says, if you want to experience God, look around you and share the suffering and pain of other human beings. And this is how God will evaluate your performance on the day of judgment, is your performance with the other human beings, not with your performance with the God Almighty. And same is in the Islam. Buddhist is more towards service-oriented traditions. Hinduism also is more towards service-oriented traditions. Yoga nowadays we see a lot, which is also about body-mind connection and all those things. So I think I'm sharing with you my point of view, so we can discuss more on that. That religion nowadays, with shifting technology and shifting mindsets, polished by technology, is now more of a is turning into a product that could be useful for the human being. And if any concept or any product or any part of the religion which society thinks nowadays that this is becoming an obstacle in the development of society is normally rejected. So everything is nowadays is being seen in a community development perspective or a society development perspective. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I am interested in the word that you use, what's called feeling. Is religion is about feeling.
Okay.
Your feeling towards the other. The other has two dimensions, as you said, Naeem. There, one is that which is absolute, the ultimate, the other, the omniscient, the omnipotent, that which is beyond me. And that's a kind of a feeling that Rudolf Otto calls as the holy other.
Okay.
The holy other is complete. It's very close to the Islamic concept of Tawheed. Is other. It's far away. The Adonai of the Jews. Or Paramatman. Paramatman, that which is completely other in certain form of in Upanishadic or the late Vedic tradition, and in Augustine and Aquinas, which is a kind of a Greek development of Christian theology. If you want to find some kind of similarity, so this feeling, what William James calls as religious experience,
exactly,
it's a religious experience, and that is uncontestable. Religious experience. I cannot. What is yours through your own feelings, your own way of being and view of life and way of life that you lead.
Exactly.
Is that which opens that window to that big other, to that big other, to that ultimate. Then that doesn't stop there. What about your connection, horizontal and the vertical dimension? There is a push from the ultimate. Okay, go back. Go back.
Yeah.
Speak to the other who is around you. Then only your connection with my mind becomes actually a real experience. You must express that in. That's why every religion has a kind of a service dimension. Even in Islam, the zakat. I think the one of the most contemporary Islamic theologian that I have studied is the Turkish Imam Fethullah Gulen, who stretches the concept of zakat to almost a social doctrine, a social doctrine of Islam.
Yeah.
I have never touched something that Islam has touched me. Islam has touched me through Gulen's development of the social doctrine in the Islamic concept of zakat. And I am amazed how he has evolved and developed that into interfaith dialogue, and social consciousness, geopolitical involvement, and involvement in moral politics, and in morality and family life, children, in an amazing way. So I think that the feeling which is towards the ultimate must also that I also feel for the other.
Okay, so this perception of yours, this experience of yours reminds me of a Sufi doctrine, Wahdatul Wajud, the unity of being. Like wherever you look at, you find only one reality. And then this is how Sufis look at different traditions, religious traditions. They find God in Christianity, they find God in Judaism, they find God in Buddhism. Because this thought process of being able to see the only reality in different perceptions and different perspectives. This is, I think, what you are mentioning. I am trying to relate the both, because if you go through the letters of and the books of Ibn al-Arabi's approach towards religion and reality is like exploring different traditions of the world and different perception based on the world of feeling and emotions. Ibn al-Arabi, sometimes I say, is and Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi also. If you take Jalaluddin Rumi and Confessions of Saint Augustine, I find them to be one and the same. One is speaking through Christian terminology, through Christian experience. The other one is speaking through Islamic thing. Both are experiencing and exploring life realities and trying to find the divine within. And this approach, I think, is lacking in comparative religions nowadays in Pakistan and most of the world. Because in comparative religion, we are trying to compare who is better and who is not. But we are not trying to see what lies, in the depth of or in the foundation of comparative religion. You have visited so many different traditions and you have visited so many places in the world. How do you embrace all these different traditions and then still try to keep the unity of the personality within?
Naeem, it's kind of a non-partisanist approach.
Okay.
Non-partisanist approach when it comes to religion. Then they ask, how come, Shanti? How could you do that? I said, because my encounter with all these traditions, Naeem, is one of admiration, one of admiration and sensitivity to each of those. And if I do embrace just a single in all the totality of feeling,
yes,
and in the totality of absorption of its history and its burdens,
yes,
because history is always with burdens and ups and downs and minuses and pluses, positives and negatives, then I probably might lose.
yes. I think there is a net connection. We have to, let's see. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, well, you need to complete your last sentence because there was a net connection, I think, from your side. The picture was just still, yeah.
So all what I'm saying is total absorption and total veneration and total admiration of one single might lead one to also to wage war again for it. Wage war for it. Because if that is what you think that gives you complete identity, then you must fight for it. And that's the danger in the complete embrace of one single tradition in a militant way.
Yes.
But you can embrace it like the way that Rumi embraced it, like most of the Sufis and most of the saints, like Assisi, Francis of Assisi embraced it. There are individuals who kind of just went above their definition of religion and their definition of the one that they knew, one that they were born to. So I maintain, to answer your question, Naeem, I maintain a certain kind of non-partisanist approach. Non-partisanist approach. It is a difficult one, but I maintain and I hear the claims and I hear also the prejudices, but I don't respond directly to neither claims nor the prejudices. But I take the chance, the moment to respond to them accordingly. Lovely. And it has worked out well. And it has worked out well so far.
No, I think this is a very good approach that is usually used in interfaith dialogue meeting, where you do not judge other people, but you try to understand their involvement with life and their theology to, I would say, to develop your own understanding of life and life's realities. Now, what would you suggest, Dr. Shanthikumar, to a student who would like to study various religions, or maybe spirituality, how they should start? Like, what I would say guidelines you would like to provide them so they are not lost in the process?
The fundamental Naeem in this case is know thine better.
Okay, so better.
Know yours better, best. Know yours in depth.
Mm.
Know yours in depth, not just memory, but deep. Go deep
Mm.
into that, and
Mm.
then you are better exposed to search for other areas of knowledge, and
Mm.
consider yours also has an in-depth knowledge. So surf in it first.
Mm.
Surf in it first, and it could be frightening. It could be
Mm.
disturbing to surf in yours, because you might have not surfed properly,
Yes,
not served properly.
this is a
So
possibility.
go into it, and it can be uncomfortable.
Mm.
To know once can be very uncomfortable.
Mm.
And if you take that leap into the depths of one's tradition,
Mm.
I am sure it can be it can be so redeeming,
Mm.
so salvific,
Mm.
and redeeming. And then you are able to see the other aspects of other traditions
Mm.
much more
Mm.
from a wider angle than you have seen up to now.
Lovely. So the
Now,
first thing I think is to study your own tradition first. Try to understand where you are standing, and then
that's correct.
you may be in a better position to see other part of the world and other part of the
That's
tradition.
correct. Yeah.
This is what I
And
find.
that also, Naeem, one moment, that also creates for you, when you go into that in-depth search into your own tradition, automatically it creates other windows
Hmm,
and other pots in your own heart and mind,
exactly.
uh, and it creates an openness within you to get the best out
Exactly.
from others, and
Hmm,
nothing will happen to yours. I guarantee
exactly. Yeah.
nothing happens to yours.
Hmm. Unfortunately,
It will
most of
be
the books written in Pakistan from MA Islamic Studies to PhD level on comparative religion, it is like one-sided approach. Like we say,
mm,
okay, Islam is not to be questioned, and let's
oh,
start evaluating other religions. It is more of a dawa approach rather than understanding.
that's right.
And
Dava.
with this mindset, people when study comparative religion here, whether they are from the business community or whether they are from the academic community, when they go outside Pakistan and they directly deal with those communities, they are either confused at that time or they become
Uh-huh.
arrogant because they don't know how to interpret the situation where they never studied in their book. Because in their books, those books were written in Islamic communities with the majority of Muslims environment, and no one was questioning. But once they go to USA, Canada, West, or any other non-Muslim countries, then the question of identity comes first. Where I am coming, you were majority here, so there was no worry. But once you land in the USA or Canada or any other country, you suddenly become a minority,
That's correct.
and then you have to justify your faith, your presence, why you are here, leaving your country. And then you tell them, okay, I'm here because of my economical growth and all those things. And then suddenly all those questions started to come. How do I deal with Christian brothers? How do I deal with Buddhist brothers? Can I sit with them? Can I eat with them? These are the things they never discussed in their own Muslim communities. So once
Mm,
we
quite
study
right.
comparative religion in Pakistan, the output is a confused personality.
Mm,
And that's what I appreciate your approach is to study your own religion first in a broader perspective with a global mindset, with a universal values and approach. But usually we do not do that. And for this purpose, I think Minhaj University Lahore is very fortunate and blessed to have you and Dr. Harman as their faculty member, because then student can directly question and can get the answer. How was your experience in Minhaj University Lahore? Because I know most of the students were coming from a very madrasas and traditional mindset. And when they were talking to you, I saw sometimes they are in a state of shock, intellectual shock. They were not expecting these answers. They were enjoying your answers,
Yes.
I mean to say, but they were not expecting that this is also a perspective that exists in the world. So, what was your
And
experience?
they wanted to. I think the mullah community that I taught, they wanted to find out whether I am fundamentally one who is, because their experience is that the whole world is against Islam,
Exactly.
and then here is another one from Sri Lanka. They wanted to check out whether this guy is also kind of who 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 is against our Islam and our beloved Prophet. These two are very important for them.
Yes.
And they somehow found that I don't belong to that category.
Fortunate for
that
you.
I don't, yeah. They found out that they checked it out very well.
Yeah.
They have found out.
Okay.
And then whatever, even an outlandish thing I said, they know that fundamentally he's questioning for the sake of inquiry and for knowledge.
For knowledge.
And nothing beyond that.
Yeah.
And that is also very important to, in a context like yours, to understand the Islamic context before I teach. And my message will be on ducks, pouring water on ducks' back. So I should be strategic in a context like yours before I want to communicate. I must deeply understand the religious psyche of the majority Pakistanis, and and I can understand looking at the global picture since 9/11 or a little beyond that, even with the Russian invasion, and also that's from one side, and also Pakistanis themselves haven't created a good press for themselves. You know, they were always in the bad end of the one is the Western media was that. The other one, they themselves did not create a properly and acceptable civilian society to develop in the last 70 years after they took off from British Raj. And I have just written a paper
Lovely.
on the question of Pakistani identity, and also the Indian identity, and the whole Hindutva is a facade for identity. And at least they have Hinduism to have their next, because they lost the most fertile part in Punjab and the most historical.
Yes.
Most historical part. And most.
I think we have again a little bit net problem. Let's see when we come back to. Sometimes we have this net problem on Zoom, but what I'm going to do for the listeners, when Dr. Shanthikumar comes to Pakistan, I will try my best to see him and would like to record an interview face to face. That will be more interesting, because sometimes you see, let's see if he comes. Yeah, he's coming back.
Yes, Naeem, I think we have gone beyond 45 minutes, right?
Yeah, maybe. Let me see. Okay, so what I'll do is, Dr. Shanthikumar, talking to you, I feel like, I'm being blessed, because sometime coming from a very deep perspective and connecting it with our daily lives is a very difficult task. And also teaching in Pakistan is a very difficult task for any foreign faculty member. because here he has to prove, first of all, that he is not anti-Islamic. me being a Pakistani and Muslim born in Pakistan, when I'm too much involved in interfaith dialogue, sometimes I have to explain that I'm a born Muslim and I'm a proud Muslim before I speak. Because when I start to speak and quote Holy Bible and the Old Testament, New Testament, some of the people in audience from Muslim background think maybe I'm from a Christian background, converted from Islam to Christianity, or maybe born as a Christian. So I have to explain my position first for my own protection. You understand what I mean? And then once it is okay, then I have to go ahead with the question. So we are going through a process. I think tourism would bring a lot of new, fresh perspective in our communities. CPAC is there, economical growth will improve also us. Unfortunately, for the last 20 years in Pakistan, both politics and religion has been used as a product. And that's why we have these so many different ideas related to religion and politics that is causing confusion in the society. But it's a great pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much for your time. And I would love, when are you coming to Pakistan? Any plan so far?
I have another one in Doha, another big symposium. I want to connect both together, but my question is about the visa is still stuck.
Okay.
And Dr. Herman and few others are looking into it. I can't do anything about it because it's a work visa applied by Minhaj.
Okay,
so I can't walk to the embassy here.
Okay.
It's all online. So I'm waiting.
Okay, lovely.
And they're expecting me in March, I believe, for a month and a half.
Okay, lovely.
So we can.
March is a good month because not so cold and not so hot. Is a very romantic month.
I like to get to that hilltop where you have all the food. I don't know what the place is called in Islamabad.
Monal.
Yeah, a friend took me, and he's working for some the Defense University.
Oh, okay.
So I might probably go. Actually, I wrote that article to the Defense University to be published in some magazine or some book. It's a book chapter. I will let you know.
Lovely. So I look forward to see you in Pakistan once you are here. We'll connect again. We'll sit together face to face. I'll record another interview with you, and I enjoyed talking to you. And thank you so much. And we'll get back again.
You're welcome. Yeah.